Good evening, yes friends. Welcome to today's editorial analysis by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 3rd January 2025. These are the two important editorial articles we are going to discuss in this video. The first one is Polarized World. In this news article discussion, we are going to discuss about what is polarization in today's world, and what are the challenges in addressing the polarization, and what can be the reforms. So these are the things we are going to discuss in this news article. This is taken from Hindu newspaper. The second editorial is Young and Hopeless. This article deals with the issues in competitive exams in India. What are the issues in conducting the competitive exams in India, and what are the challenges, and what can be the reforms to address this. So this is about the second editorial article. This is taken from Indian Express newspaper. So these are the two editorial articles we are going to discuss today. Now let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. The article talks about the problems in competitive exams in India. There was a recent controversy surrounding the BPSC exam, that is Bihar Public Service exam, in paper leaks and irregularities in conducting the exam. So the article points out the bigger issues in how exams are conducted in India, and this shows a lack of transparency and accountability. So these problems not only affect younger people's dreams, but it also affects the existing social inequalities in India. Now discussing about the systemic governance issues in India's competitive exams. We have several problems. First, there are administrative failures. So this administrative failure include frequent paper leaks, irregularities in conducting the exam, and poor management. So these are administrative failures, and these issues lack institutional systems which struggle to maintain the control and fairness of exam. Another major problem is a lack of accountability. Officials involved in exam malpractices often go unpunished. This not only damages the integrity of exam process, but also erodes the public trust in the system. Additionally, there were coordination challenges. See, poor communication and collaboration between the departments play a big role in inefficient monitoring and implementation of exams. Lastly, the infrastructure gaps are also a major challenge. Insufficient exam centers, weak security measures, and technological issues during online exams also contribute to the overall failure of the system. So these issues deepen the crisis and affects the young aspirants and creating a layer of governance problem. So these are the important issues in conducting the public exams in India. Now what are the impact of these issues? See, the impact of these systematic issues on youth is significant, and they are far-reaching. First, there is a trust deficit, as repeated failures in exam system cause young people to lose confidence in the public institutions. So this lack of faith in the system creates a disillusionment and frustration for younger generation. Secondly, the economic burden is heavy. Frequent exam cancellation and re-examination result in additional cost to the aspirants. Along with the financial strain, there is also psychological stress. The delay in conducting exam, uncertainties, and constant changes to the exam schedule increase the mental health challenges for students. Finally, the widening inequalities occur, as marginalized groups, especially those from rural areas, face even greater obstacles due to the systematic flaws in the exam process. So these groups are at great disadvantage, further deepening the existing social inequalities. So these are the impact of improper exam conduction in India. Now let us see what are the legislative and policy measures aimed at improving the fairness and security of public examinations in India. One such measure is Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. So this act criminalizes exam malpractices like paper leaks, impersonation, and cheating. The act imposes strict penalties on the involved students, including the individuals and officials who are also involved. However, there are still challenges in enforcing this law effectively due to gaps in monitoring. Another important measure is digital reforms in examination. See, policies have been introduced to encrypted question paper delivery to prevent the paper leaks. Additionally, online and AI-based invigilation systems are being used for real-time monitoring to detect irregularities during exams. While these reforms are critical for exams like NEET and UPSC, they require strong technical infrastructure to be fully effective. The third measure is decentralized examination system. This system empowers the state-level exam boards to manage exams, and it also allows for region-specific solutions. It helps to reduce the logistical issues and also enables better supervision. However, without the central oversight, there is a risk of inconsistent standards across different regions. The next is judicial oversight. The judicial oversight has also played a crucial role in ensuring the fairness in conducting the exam. Courts have stepped in to mandate re-examination and cancel flawed results many times. While the judicial decisions have set precedent for stricter accountability, they are often reactive rather than preventive. In terms of equity-oriented policies, there have been initiatives to make exams more accessible to marginalized groups. For example, special provisions for rural areas and reserved seats in exams help ensure fair representation of marginalized people. Budget allocation for rural exam centers and subsidized travel make it easier for students from all the areas to participate. Despite these measures, there are several challenges. The most important challenge is implementation bottlenecks. So the implementation bottlenecks include a lack of trained personnel, insufficient technology infrastructure, which reduces the effectiveness of the policies. The coordination failure across the states often lead to inconsistent outcomes. Moreover, the oversight limitations mean that current policies focus more on punishing the malpractices rather than preventing them in the first place. In order to address these challenges, several reforms are needed. Technological integration is one such reform which is needed now. It plays an important role, such as using blockchain technology for secure question paper management and AI-based system to monitor exams in real time. Strengthening the governance is another crucial step. It means including the establishment of independent exam conducting authorities. So these independent exam conducting authorities should have autonomous powers and regular audits to hold the officials accountable. The next is policy enhancement. It should include amending the Unfair Means Act to introduce harsher penalties and clear guidelines for the implementation of the Act. It would also be beneficial to implement preemptive measures like biometric verification, randomized seating during exams. In terms of capacity building, expanding exam infrastructure, particularly in rural areas, is necessary to ensure equal access. The regular training for exam staff can help them handle the technological and administrative challenges more efficiently. Finally, the stakeholder collaboration should be encouraged. Partnership between government, judiciary and civil society can ensure greater transparency in the exam process. Also, establishing feedback mechanism for students can help continuously improve the examination system. Mental health support should be provided through counseling services and grievance redressal systems to assist the affected students. So these are some of the reforms that can be suggested to improve the examination system in India. Now in this discussion we have seen what are the issues in examination in India, what are the governance issues and various other implementation issues in conducting exams in India. We have also seen what are the challenges in rectifying those issues and what are the reforms that needed to improve the examination in India. So with this, let us conclude the discussion. This is a mains question regarding this topic. Failures in competitive examinations disproportionately affect marginalized communities. Analyze this statement with examples. Suggest policy reforms to make examinations more equitable and inclusive. So this mains answer can be written using the points from our discussion. So interested aspirants can use it. Now let us move on to the next news article. Now look at this article. The article talks about how people in US and around the world are becoming more polarized. It looks at the social, cultural and political reasons behind this polarization. The article explains how technology, media and changing societal values are making these divisions very worse. The article also discusses how this polarization is affecting the people's opinion, how it affects the governments and relationship with the people and the government. So this is what discussed in this news article. In this context, let us discuss about the polarization in today's world. This is a mains question regarding this topic. Take a look at it. Now let us discuss about the polarization. Polarization means a sharp division of society or opinions or political ideologies into two opposing groups. It happens when people's beliefs or interests move away from the middle ground, which leads to extreme situations that make cooperation dialogue very difficult. So when people's belief or interest move away from the middle ground and they reach the extreme position. So this extreme end of people's beliefs is called polarization. For example, the partition in 1947. This has led to several communal polarization and its impacts are visible even today. So the main element of this polarization is that the people move to the extreme end of their beliefs or ideologies and they see one another as a threat. Now what are the reasons for the polarization? Polarization happened due to various reasons. This includes political, economic, media and cultural factors. Politically, the strong differences in ideologies within the parties can often lead to divisions. For example, in India, there were debates around the Citizenship Amendment Act, that is CAA Act. This highlights a polarization. Economic inequality is another major cause for the polarization because the income and wealth gap create a resentment among different groups. According to World Bank data, India's Gini coefficient of income inequality rose from 0.45 to 0.50 in 2020. Media, both the social media and the mainstream media, also plays a major role by creating the echo chambers. So the people are only exposed to the opinions which they are already agreed with. The spread of fake news like misinformation about the vaccines during COVID pandemic. So this adds to the mistrust and hostility. Next, regarding the cultural and social changes such as the debates over same-sex marriage or religious practices further deepen the polarization. A recent example is protest over hijab ban in Karnataka. Now, polarization has serious impacts on society, governance, and even on global diplomacy. Polarization reduces the social trust and unity, as it is seen in the events like communal riots in Gujarat and Delhi. The governance become difficult because polarization prevents consensus on important policies. Even on the global level, the polarization within the nations can damage their image and affect the international relationship, such as the US withdrew from the Paris Agreement on climate change during the Trump's regime. A best example of polarization is the Cold War between US and USSR. To address polarization, several steps can be taken. First one is promoting dialogue and education is essential. The civic education programs can teach critical thinking, and it also makes a respect for diverse views. In India, Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat is a very important initiative regarding this. It promotes a national integration. Strengthening regulations on media is also a crucial step. Stricter IT rules like India's ID Rules 2021 can help to reduce the hate speech and misinformation. Next is economic policies that ensure fair wealth distribution. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, for example, can reduce the socio-economic divides. So reducing the socio-economic divides will lead to less polarization in the society. Encouraging grassroots movements like self-help group model can bring people together by focusing on the shared goals. So the economic policies can either result in deeper polarization or less polarization. The next is global collaboration, which is also an important step as issues like climate change and pandemic require nations to work together. For example, India's leadership in International Solar Alliance promotes the global energy cooperation. Technology companies must also act responsibly by ensuring their platform do not promote the divisive content or hate speech. For example, the European Union's Digital Services Act of 2022 focuses on removing the hate speech and reducing it. Finally, focusing on educating the young people about the dangers of polarization is an important thing. So this can build a more united future. Programs like India's Yuva Utsav, which encourages cultural harmony among the youth. So these are the some of reforms or steps that can be taken to address the polarization. So in this discussion, we have seen why polarization is happening in the world, what are the reasons for it, and what are the challenges, and what can be the reforms to address the polarization. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.